Someone said they'd be grateful for advice on common contract clauses, stroke excuses, relied on by paying contractors or end customers, which are illegal under current legislation. But Simon, have you come across any?
Yeah, well, we do, and we rely on we have a number of sort of managing QS for the whole of TARMAC on our contracting side, who we would look to actually manage the whole process. So if it's a standard NEC contract or something of that ilk, then it's very, very clear what those contract clauses are. However, going back to, and I can't remember who said it, I think it was Charlie mentioned that it was about agreeing, don't start work until you've agreed the contracts. That happens in big companies, that happens a lot in small companies. So it's about making sure that you go through that contract and pick up those things. Quite often these things are just waved through, or even in many cases, certain clauses not agreed in writing. This is about, it's basics. This is about basics where you have a contract, you do the work for somebody to agreed standard, to a timescale and all the other bits. Their part of the contract is to pay you. And then it's making sure that if there are errors or other issues which could be caused, that you actually go through and apply the contract clauses. So that wouldn't be necessarily just pulling away off site. That could be pay less notices. It could be all of those elements. There are elements that they have to do to you. So if they're just simply withholding money and the contract says they should have provided you with a pay less notice, they're not in the contract. And so you've just got to make sure, and it's actually about understanding what contracts are about far better, and generally the understanding of what contracts are, certainly in many customers, is pretty dire, to be quite frank.
Sure. I think, Philip, in our scenario, because it's obviously insolvency and I'm not trying to build a relationship, we can be fairly forthright with the action we're going to take. So it's more difficult when the company's still trading. You want to work with these people again, but equally, if they're dragging their feet along to not pay, then you want to apply the right pressure. In my scenario, we can get quite aggressive with it because the relationship is done. There's no further. So it's slightly different for us, but yes, we would be using our lawyers to recover a hell of a lot.